So guys, welcome to the first of best of episodes in 2021, in which we are gonna chat with you about probably one of the most challenging notes in the perfumery, which is of course aldehyde, that we are all familiar thanks to the iconic Chanel No. 5. So what aldehyde means, I will leave for you on the screen. And I can tell you that there are so many different aldehydic perfume materials on the market. Some of them are citrusy, others are floral, there are even peach and coconutty aldehydes out there, but I gotta be honest with you, it's not the most easygoing perfume material, because aldehydes are waxy, they are sharp, they are clean, and perfumers need to dilute them sometimes to even 1% in order to work with them, because if you smell aldehyde at 100%, oh my god, it will blow you away because of its power. So in order to create a beautiful aldehydic fragrance, you need to use a light hand, because otherwise aldehydes will overpower all the other notes. And as you might know, it was a really popular note back in the days, particularly after success of Chanel No. 5. It was really hard not to find an aldehydic fragrance out there, but after that trend, aldehydes sort of disappeared from the market because people were tired of them, and even these days sometimes they are associated with vintage and old-fashioned perfumery. But I'm very glad that some brave brands, as I call them, create a comeback for aldehydes, and I am definitely a lover of this note, and sometimes it might take time in order to understand this note that is truly gorgeous. And that's why if you are looking for awesome aldehydic fragrances, today I prepared a 15 list of fragrances in which aldehydes are main notes. They are all very different. I have some classy and modern fragrances on today's top list. So in order to find out more about them, please keep on watching this video, and of course give it a thumbs up if you want to see more of these, and subscribe. Let's go! Hi guys! Wow! Finally, it's time for a new best of episode. It's the first one in 2021, and I thought January is the perfect time for aldehydes because, as I've already mentioned, they smell clean and sharp. You know, they can really help perfumers achieve a lot, particularly imitating different abstract scents, and I will explain you that concept during the video. But I personally find that aldehydic fragrances perform really well when it's cold outside, so winter is the perfect time to pull out your aldehydes and, you know, all that craziness. And so, as I've already mentioned, Chanel No. 5 is probably the most well-known aldehydic perfume, but it's not the first one that used this note. But another great brand that I personally love did. So that was Guerlain, and apparently Après L'Onde, that was launched in 1906, was the first fragrance on the market with aldehydes. There is anisic aldehyde, and it smells like anise, so cool, slightly medicinal, and has some powdery aspect, which goes well with you know, signature DNA of Guerlain, because their perfumes are powdery, and in here can be found lots of different floral notes, woodsy notes, and other than that, beautiful violet, iris, and also some orris root with its sort of earthiness. So it's one of those fragrances that smell cool and crisp. Because of anise, it has that almost boozy medicinal sharpness and also powderiness. So gorgeous for applying after the shower time when you want to prolong the feeling of freshness. And I have eau de toilette concentration that is very unisex and smells truly classy. If you don't want a sharp aldehydes, but you still want something that will smell clean, that is one of the most universal and one of most classy fragrances out there. So here you go, Après L'Onde was the first fragrance in which aldehydes were used. But what about Chanel No. 5, huh? Because, you know, it really revolutionized perfumery that has never been the same since the release of Chanel number 5. I have the current formulation Eau de Parfum, and oh my god, it is just gorgeous. Yes, sometimes it is described as grandma fragrance, and you know, that's understandable, but I don't like that description because it still remains a bestseller for Chanel. And of course, in here you get those signature beautiful aldehydes that in combination with the ylang-ylang, in my personal opinion, create very fizzy and sparkling effect. There are many different flowers as iris, jasmine, rose, lily of the valley, neroli, some peachy and bergamot notes, and vanillic oak moss nuances in the base. But Chanel number 5 is definitely a legend, and in my personal opinion, if you're looking for the perfume that will represent aldehydes best, Chanel number 5 is something you need to start with. But if you want something lighter and still from number 5 family, I recommend you Chanel number 5's a flanker called Le, because you know, it's lighter and brighter than Chanel number 5, and yet it also has this beautiful aldehydic note mixed with more citruses that are really juicy. There are mandarins, oranges, lemons, bergamot, lime, still ylang-ylang, jasmine and rose from the original fragrance, and then some musky and you know, light notes in the base. So it's awesome and wearable Chanel number 5 kind of fragrance that in my personal opinion will be appreciated by younger audience who still want aldehydic perfume but not in old school style. Let's actually stay in this white floral aldehydic theme and chat about French Lily by DSH Perfumes that I gotta be honest with you, I wasn't a fan of as I first tested it, because you know, back then I wasn't that used to aldehydes, and you can actually check out my first impressions on it as I smelled a lot of DSH samples in the video a couple of years ago. But I gotta be honest with you now, I adore this really white floral scent with a beautiful addition of galbanum to lily, jasmine, Tunisian neroli and lily of the valley. It's like white floral with green nuances, aldehydes that are less sharp in Chanel number 5, yet they are there for that classy vibe. And in the base there is beautiful civet, ambergris and musk, so it's a classy, very beautiful white floral aldehydic fragrance in which aldehydes are subtle, yet they are there. So it's definitely for those who are familiar with aldehydes, but you want your aldehydes to be charming and not aggressive. So with that being said, let's talk about that modern take on aldehydes, okay? This is an innovative brand from Germany called Der Duft, and their perfume Monopteros is one of my newest discoveries, and I've already reviewed it, and it's a brave perfume that is very wow, strong, and to me personally it smells like garage where some mechanic works with cars and covered in machine oil. He's still a perfume addict who wears fresh rose in his overall. That's exactly an impression that I get from this spicy rose. There is kind of like a coconutty aldehyde, I feel, because in the notes there is coconut and aldehyde, so probably that's that aldehyde that has coconutty feeling, and spices are here huge. So I find that interestingly enough, raspberry fruity element really comes through in the base, and that's for it's a really unusual, very strong, very bold and attractive perfume that surprisingly smells great to people who, you know, don't really care for creative perfumery. But Monopteros has something so attractive to it. Probably that's this metallic rosy spiciness that thanks to aldehydes is so crisp and bright that people can't really stay calm about it. So with that being said, let's move on to the sexiest aldehydic perfume, and in my opinion it's something rare for this category of perfumes, because normally they can be clean, they can be sharp, they can be classy, but sexy, it is really challenging to create something in that style. But in my opinion, Sarah Baker's Rules of Attraction is an awesome example for a sexy aldehydic perfume. This is definitely in the vintage style. You know, I love to spray perfumes under my clothes because that way I can smell them really, really strongly and intensely, and they don't evaporate that quickly. And thanks to the warmth of the skin, they heat up. So that all makes sense for this perfume actually, because I definitely think of French royalty from like 16th century, you know, with their powder wigs and definitely extraordinary parties. It is like a dirty aldehydic perfume, which is strange because aldehydes smell rather clean, you know. But I guess that comes from cumin that I noticed smells sexy to me in perfumes. And other than that, we have a whole bouquet of flowers such as iris, gardenia, jasmine, neroli, and tuberose, and some animalic notes in the base. So it's very attractive. The name is very accurate, and if you like vintage perfumes but you want it to have like a modern twist and sexy energy, that is Rules of Attraction. But if you prefer your clean aldehydes, then you can't go wrong with Lazy Sunday Morning. This was perfume I bought to wear in the morning, and believe it or not, it's an amazing fragrance to apply when you wake up because it's light, it's crisp, and it smells literally like freshly washed bed sheets. So not only that, but also I really get that stamp that comes from the iron as you're ironing your laundry, if you know what I'm talking about, because you know it smells like soapy aldehydic perfume with the soapy flower, soapy pear, soapy musk. It's a soapy aldehydic perfume, and indeed you will get an impression of soft skin and bed linen wearing it. So if you're a fan of clean aldehydes, that's the way to go for you. I personally really enjoyed it, although you know it might be a little bit too harsh for some people. And talking about laundry, the best laundry type fragrance I personally know, and it has been on my wish list forever, and it came today, so I thought it's the best time to film this video since Blanche by Byredo is finally in my collection. Because you guys, this is Laundry Day from my childhood in a bottle, and I swear to you, I can smell that, you know, laundry detergent in here. So it's like being a little girl watching my grandma washing everything by hand and then hanging that freshly washed clothes in the fresh air. So the aroma of laundry detergent mixed with fresh air is what Blanche is all about, and aldehydes in here definitely overpower all the floral notes, and in my opinion it's an awesome scent of something clean. And if you want to create an impression that you've just washed your clothes, you know, sometimes you smell that laundry detergent on some people. That is it. You can spray it on and you'll feel and smell very clean. With that being said, you guys, I want to move on to the perfume that's like spicy aldehydic fragrance. And as I've told you, aldehydes, they also create an impression of maybe a landscape or a certain feeling. And to me, they can smell snowy and cold. That's why I like them in the winter. And this next fragrance from Guerlain, Musk Noble, was something that, you know, I was so drawn to. I purchased it and I'm so glad that I did, you guys, because it is very sharp in the opening. There is saffron, pink pepper, and aldehydes, and all those notes are intense and sharp. They are spicy, you know, and yet Guerlain really proved that not only their powdery stuff is on point, but also any other fragrance they do, it smells so good. And this balance between really high spicy notes and aldehyde that smell like snow and frost with gorgeous musk that is the cleanest black musk I've ever smelled, and sort of like spicy, cool rose, geranium, and leather. Honestly, it smells like winter to me. I've even mentioned it in the video about snowy-like perfumes, and if you missed it, check out that top list. The link is going to be down below and on the screen for you. But I gotta be honest with you, Musk Noble is amazing composition of spices, frost, really sexy musk, and very cool, cold rose. I love it and nothing can beat it for me. If you're looking for a very noble aldehydic composition, that's hands down it. Let's move on to another very atmospheric perfume, and I want to introduce Nebula 3 Veil by Oliver & Co to you. So this fragrance smells to me like storm in a garden in springtime. So there are metallic and mineral notes with chamomile that make you smell the rain, and there are also some spicy nuances that come from ginger and kind of like citrusy flowers. Overall impression is very sappy, it smells unisex and great for those who like stormy weather or something. And aldehydes in here are not as soapy and sharp and waxy as they can be. In here they rather help with that storm effect. And now we are moving on to a very special perfume. For me, it would be probably in my top 10 niche fragrances for life. And since the release of this perfume, I was really excited for it. Notes sounded very interesting to me, and it was love at second sniff, because at first sniff I was really shocked by Metallic. As Tom Ford launched it, I was just so going crazy about this combination of aldehydes with pink pepper, heliotrope, lily of the valley, vanilla and some woody notes, because I couldn't really imagine how it will smell. And since oh my god, I love it. I also love powdery perfumes, and just another day I had this conversation with some perfume lovers, how powdery perfumes can be so different. They can be sweet and powdery, earthy and powdery, floral and powdery, and even green and powdery. And Tom Ford proved that even aldehydic powder exists, like gold and silver, those precious metals. It is super stunning, and it literally smells like powdered skin, it's like creamy vanilla with powdered skin and gorgeous, not too sharp, very modern aldehydes, and it's one of the best fragrances out there that is creative and at the same time very pleasant. But with that being said, something even more creative and more addictive is my #1 favorite creative fragrance launch of 2020, and I've been raving about Orla by January Scent Project, but I need to do it one more time because I could not, live it out. There are aldehydes and so many more interesting notes. In my opinion, this is a perfume masterpiece. I've never smelled anything like it, and I don't think I will. Opening aldehydic, yes, but later it turns into creamy milk with ylang spices and powder of almonds, and beautiful civet and vanilla kinda warm you up and make you feel so good you don't even need drugs. It's very special, and if you wanna find out more about it, check out our interview with John Beeble, the nose behind it, on Instagram. But it is something very special, and it should be experienced because there are so many unique facets that it is hard to explain it. And I like this super unique take on quite, a common note of aldehydes, because in here, believe it or not, they smell quite new. And at this point you might get an impression that aldehydes smell like old perfumes, which they don't. I understand why you might think so, but it's really not the case. And next I want to prove you that with a very fun aldehydic perfume from Maison Margiela. But unlike Lazy Sunday Morning, their bubble bath smells so not really soapy, although there is a note of soap, but also very smooth because there are coconuts in there. I was very curious about that combo. Probably that's that coconutty element that is used for the aldehydic part of it, and you might remember my bubble bath review in a bubble bath. But it is very fun, quite cool fragrance, fresh, a little bit similar to Lazy Sunday Morning, yet different, so maybe you wanna see a comparison between these two. But I really like to wear it out, particularly in the cold weather and particularly to work. It's fun, but at the same time, you're put together with it. And at this point, it's important to mention that, it all depends on the skills of perfumer, and then aldehydes, they maybe sometimes less than often, but still can be hidden behind all the notes, and yet they do something to the texture. And Doing the Snow by 4160 Tuesdays is not an example for that, because even though Sarah McCartney is not very comfortable with aldehydic notes, and I tried to challenge her to create in collaboration with me an animalic tuberose perfume with aldehydes, but she kind of refused because, you know, every indie perfumer has its own style, and she is more known for those fruity, sweet fragrances with flowers that I personally like, and I understand that maybe aldehydes are a little bit too challenging, but yet in this perfume you get citrus aldehyde among grapefruit, citron, yuzu and peach that smells like a frozen cocktail. This is not an aldehyde straightforward, but I guess it's like that texture, that coolness, you know, the like frosty finish is there. And believe it or not, although it's shy, Aldehyde is not a shy perfume, and it is so pleasant if you wear it because of its sillage. You don't even need too much, and every time I wear it I can smell it from morning till evening, which is great. So with that being said, that was Doe in the Snow by 4160 Tuesdays, frosted juicy cocktail from the fridge. And as I already mentioned, there is a video on my channel about imaginary note of snow in the perfumery, and in it I forgot to mention La Neige by Esquisse Parfum, which is a fragrance that smells like first flowers under the snow. So these are not intense, sharp aldehydes. I think it's for aldehydic beginner kind of perfume that smells abstract of flowers, and although it's light and almost like airy, at the same time it lasts. It's not the loudest perfume, so I think if you're just starting out with aldehydes, that might be something you wanna check out. I personally think of snowdrops from my childhood that I almost forgot their scent, because there is something about these flowers you can't really describe. It's not something common, but at the same time it's very, very beautiful and youthful, kind of like the first sign of spring. And now we are coming to the darkest and the strongest aldehydic perfume I personally have, which is Dorophilia by Miguel Matos, and it was inspired by the addiction of touching fur. So it's an animalic fragrance hands down, and oh my god, it is so strong and leathery. I featured it in my leather video, and aldehydes in here, they create very, very, you know, like vintage vibes. So if you like leather and vintage perfumes with aldehydes, you need this stuff because it smells a little bit burnt, it smells sexy, it smells dated kinda, and there are lots of flowers such as ylang ylang, narcissus, mimosa, iris and rose, but focus is on aldehydic leather, and yeah, it's quite addictive, and even my boyfriend, who is not the biggest fan of perfumes, likes it, which I can't complain about, because I do too, and it performs really nice when it's cold outside. And finally, I wanted to let you know about another iconic fragrance, Mitsoko by Guerlain, because in here for the first time was used that, you know, peach aldehyde. And if you want to find out more about Mitsoko, its history, and some modern Mitsoko alternatives, check out my video, because I've already spoken about that topic. And with that being said, you guys, that was all for my top 15 list of aldehydic fragrances, and since I really like this note, probably at some point there is going to be part 2, but for now what I would like to hear from you is which of these mentioned fragrances sounded most interesting to you. Maybe there are some aldehydic favorites in your collection, and if so, please share them with me, and of course let me know how you deal with aldehydes. Do you like them or they are scary to you? I'm excited to hear your feedback, and if you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up for more videos like this, and of course subscribe to my channel. And in order not to miss the next episode, ring that bell, and I can already tell you what it's gonna be about, because I'm done with my cardamom best of episode that is coming up in February. And if you can't get enough of me, make sure to follow me on my social media, and thank you so much for watching. Like, share and subscribe, and we'll see each other really soon. Bye guys.